Two of the greatest impediments to human flourishing are climate change and our nuclear threat. But I think when you look beyond that, I think probably one of the biggest threats to humanity right now is actually the erosion of social values. And that erosion of social values is causing a loneliness epidemic, it's causing a crisis of trust, and it's causing this extreme fear of difference in the world where we're becoming more and more and more divided. And much of that leads back to the road of the systems are broken, where, for example, the way we do business is broken, and it's actually incentivizing people to not be human and to focus on greed and focus on individual achievement rather than on collective humanity. Human flourishing, it has to start with doing what's right for your people. And every single moment we have an interaction with someone in our companies, we have a chance to do the right thing. So I think first as a base is how do we make sure we're 100% human at every single moment within our company? And I think you couldn't have human flourishing unless you did something about the climate, which is absolutely critical to all of us. So looking at making all of our companies, for example, net zero. And other things from a human flourishing perspective are how do we get together incredible collective leaders to change the systems? Because until we change the systems, we're never going to have human flourishing. But at the same time, how do we have that urgent patience where we are actually making sure we stand up for unacceptable issues in the world? I think one of the things that's most important in the world right now is for leaders to have moral courage. And until we have moral courage and we start standing up against the unacceptable, things like the death penalty, things like stoning people to death for homosexuality, until we start standing together as collectives and bringing those down, we're going to continue to just stand alongside these horrific things that are happening in the world and are completely unacceptable. I decided to come because I'm so passionate about how do we start a revolution to bring social values back in the world? How do we bring humanity back into our schools? How do we bring humanity back into our businesses? How do we bring humanity back into everything we do? Because we've gone so far away from that right now. We've pushed people because of our broken systems and incentive structures to not be human to each other anymore. So I'm super excited about this new initiative that's starting around Humanity 2.0 to learn how we can again come together as a collective to really work towards a new way of living. I hope we leave this forum with a deep sense of urgent patience in our belly, where we leave and we come together as a collective around the things that we can urgently do so that we start to end the incredible human suffering that's in the world right now. But I also hope we have the patience to make sure that we stay together and work together to change the systems over the long term, which ultimately, if we don't do that, we'll be at this conference again and again for the rest of our lives.